Good morning. I'll get started with a reading here in a minute, and then get into some questions, all that kind of stuff. If anybody has any questions about any of this, just stick around and we'll get to them. All right, let's get the reading started, then we'll get into all the questions. On awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. We consider our plans for the day. Before we begin, we ask God to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest, and self-seeking motives. Under these conditions, we can employ our mental faculties with assurance, for after all, God gave us brains to use. Our thought life will be placed on a much higher plane when our thinking is clear to wrong motives. In thinking about our day, we may face indecision. We may not be able to determine which course to take. Here we ask God for inspiration, an intuitive thought or decision. We relax and take it easy. We don't struggle. We're often surprised how the right answers come after we've tried this for a while. It used to be the hunch, the occasional inspiration gradually becomes a working part of the mind. Being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God, it's not probable we're going to be inspired at all times. We may pay for this presumption in all sorts of absurd actions and ideas. Nevertheless, we find that our thinking will, as time passes, be more and more on the plane of inspiration. We come to rely upon it. We usually conclude the period of meditation with a prayer that would be shown all through the day, what our next step is to be, that we be given whatever we need to take care of such problems. We're careful never to pray for our own selfish ends. Many of us have wasted a lot of time doing that, and it doesn't work. You can easily see why. If circumstances warrant, we ask our partners or friends to join us in morning meditation. If we belong to a religious denomination with a definite morning devotion, we attend to that also. If not members of religious bodies, we sometimes select and memorize a few set prayers which emphasize the principles we have been discussing. There are many helpful books also. Suggestions about these may be obtained from one's priest, minister, rabbi, clergyman, spiritual advisor. Be quick to see where spiritual and religious people are right. Make use of what they offer. As we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful. We ask for the right thought or action, and are constantly reminding ourselves we are no longer running the show, humbly saying to ourselves many times each day, "Thy will be done." We are then in much less danger of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, foolish decisions. We do not tire so easily, for we are not burning up energy foolishly as we did when we were trying to arrange life to suit ourselves. It works. Many of us are undisciplined, so we let God discipline us in the simple way we've just outlined, but this is not all. There is action and more action. Faith without works is dead. Good morning, fine people. I hope everybody is doing well. Glad you're here. Just here to discuss our sacrament, what we do. If you want a background on me, I'm happy to share it. It's a quite interesting story, actually. A lot of twists and turns, a lot of pain and suffering, a lot of mistakes, a lot of failures, a lot of landing on my face and getting up and dusting myself off and trying again. Been through quite a lot. Is this a retreat? There's a retreat in Florida? Yes, we are hosting retreats starting in September, twice a month. I'm not sure if we're going to have one or two in November because there's a scheduling thing going on with the location that we utilize. And I'm not sure if there's space for us for 2 weekends in November. I'll know that soon. But otherwise, yes, we host 2 Aya retreats per month just outside of Orlando. Maine, we host 3 a month, except for in January. And I think we'll have 2 or 3 in December, 1, maybe 2 in January. In February, we'll have probably 2. And then starting in March, we'll have 3 or 4 a month up in Maine. So our retreats start under $1,000. That includes all your food. Can Aya cure schizophrenia or bipolar? Actually, it's not safe. If somebody has bipolar or schizophrenia, it's not safe to sit with this medicine. It can cause some reactions that are really dangerous. How do I get more information? What is the process? They're like, okay. You can get more information if you go to my profile up here, and there's a link tree. In that link tree, you'll see a bunch of different links, but one of them is going to be to our website. You can check that out. And I think there's a discount code that's going until Sunday on that, which we release that about once every 3 months. So it's not, there's constantly discounts. We don't do that. We do it about once a quarter for a week. But I think there's a discount code in there. And there's some other information you'll see in there. But basically, our website's got tons of information. You'll find all kinds of good stuff on there about the sacrament, our beliefs, which we're not dogmatic. We don't push any kind of particular message or way of doing things or anything like that. Where do you stay? Thank you so much for the repost, for the share. Where do you stay and what do you wear and what do you bring? What do you do during the day? Hey, Becca, good morning. Good to see you. So we have space for you to sleep. We take care of your sleeping arrangements, all your food, workshops, two ceremonies. So the weekend goes like this. You arrive between 2 and 5 on Friday. 6 o'clock, we start with introductions. By 8:30 p.m., we start ceremony, our first Aya ceremony. And by the way, all of our ceremonies are led by Giovanni. Ibogaine is great. It's a different type of medicine. Certainly a once in a lifetime type of medicine versus Aya, which you can revisit to continue growth in a more self-directed way. Ibogaine kind of rewires you and does a lot of the work with you in ceremony, and then it just applies to your life. But it's a lot more intense, and it's dangerous in some ways. So ceremony, it's over about, let's see, horrible, but I did, oh, you cashed, nice. That's a win. Cashing is a win in a big tournament, so that's awesome. This will be a disabled veteran with PTSD, a little over 100% of my service connection is PTSD, has ruined my life. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Nincompoop, you should follow Vines and Valor. Troy Ushofer, who is a veteran himself, runs that organization, and we raise money. He raises money, and we help him raise money to provide 35 grants twice a year for veterans to come and all sit together. All veterans retreat. That's all grants. So Vines and Valor, you can find them there. The VA will not finance it, but if you follow Vines and Valor, there's 70 grants per year for veterans. If it's a church, what are you worshiping here? Each person has their own connection with that mystery. I call it God, right? But my perception of what God is and your perception of what God is might not be aligned, but that doesn't really matter. That mystery, spirit, the source of all creation, the thing that permeates all space and time, all of that. When we sit with medicine, it gets us connected with that. It removes our egos and removes our confusion, and removes all the stuff that's standing in the way of us and that mystery that I call God. And so it's not, just because it's not like a traditional go to church, worship Jesus, for example, does not mean it's not a church. It doesn't mean it's not a church. It's a different expression. We're a religious organization, but we're not dogmatic. Call it source. Yeah, perfect. It's all the same thing. Correct. Yeah, that's the way that I see it. I was just scared because I have a tendency to panic attacks, and I've heard Aya to be rough. Okay, I'm going to pin this. Let's talk about anxiety and panic attacks, okay? All right. I've had, I get 5 to 10 people a week that call me and ask about this because it's a valid concern. It's a valid concern. And I can tell you, we've got 5,500 members that have come and sat with medicine before, 5,500. And there's never been a panic attack. And I've had this question come up on an almost daily basis. The medicine doesn't work that way. We also give you tools and we give you support. And if you start to get a little upset in the medicine, we can bring you back to it. Yes, we are using legit Aya. I don't know what synthetic Aya even would be. I heard that was going around that people were using synthetic Aya, and I honestly don't know what that could be. Like, maybe I'm just out of touch with how they're like making and synthesizing but we use actual vine. We use actual real vine and real chacruna leaf. We use real plants from the jungle, and we brew it with nothing but those two plants, the Aya vine, the chacruna leaf, and then some vinegar and some water, and that's it. But we brew it ourselves, so we know that there's nothing added to it other than the plants that we put in it, and there's no synthetic anything.